Hey, this is Sean from the Drivers Guild. Today I want to talk about a very sensitive subject to us all, pay cuts. Why are all these gig apps giving us pay cuts? All the apps. I'm talking about all of them. And they've all done it. Uber, Lyft. I mean, there's strikes going on. DoorDash, Grubhub, the new pay scale with Grubhub. Postmates, they're all doing it. They're all doing it, and they all start out high and they all go low, and they want to see the perfect amount of squeezing that lemon until there's nothing left. This is my opinion, and this is what I think the reason is for all these pay cuts. So when a new app rolls out, or when a new app goes to your region, they're going to offer the best price they can afford at that time to pull you as a driver. So say you're driving for Grubhub and DoorDash comes into your region. They're going to pay higher than what Grubhub is paying. They're going to try to do things to make you drive for DoorDash. So right away, when two apps go into one region, they're going to have their highest offers. Come drive for us. Here's our promos. Here's our bonus. This is how much we're paying. And they're fighting for the driver. Okay? So once that settles down, they will start to pay cut you. They start up high and they work their way down. The reason why they can start giving pay cuts is now drivers are already on the apps. There's already probably an oversaturation or too many drivers. They're no longer fighting for the new driver anymore. And these apps are lowering and pay cutting you down to pretty much where all the other apps are. It helps all the apps to be at a really low level together and not fight each other on the way up, because then they're losing. Most of these companies are losing money. So they're not going to raise the customers. They're not going to raise the customer's price. If they do, it is a rare situation, but they're not going to raise the delivery fees, because then you're hurting your customers. They do not care if they're hurting the drivers, as long as they can replace you. They will just keep lowering and lowering your payouts. And they're not concerned about the individual driver, but it's a bunch of stats in the background that they're looking. Do we still have enough drivers to perform the job? Now, a lot of times, even in union stores or W-2 jobs, what they'll do, if someone is making too much money, they will eventually fire them or get rid of them or force them to retire, and then they'll hire the next wave in for a cheaper price. So if you think, oh no, they're just going to go under, like no one's going to drive for them, you're probably wrong, because once they get rid of the drivers that were getting paid well, most of them will quit, move on, a new batch will come up, and they will only know the new way and the new pay. And as long as that is good for them, these apps will continue to pay cut. Now, they will bottom out somewhere where no one will work for you, and then you'll start to see increases in incentives and like backing off. But for right now, it's like squeezing a lemon for all its juice. They want all the money they can get out of the drivers. And how far can they pay cut us before we just won't work for you? Think of it as this way. They kind of think of you as like a lemming falling off a cliff. They're not really concerned about the lemming that's falling off the cliff. They're concerned about where the lemmings are coming from. And the one way to combat this would be to not actually work for them, and everyone just stops working, and then you'll see the increases. But there's always someone that wants a little bit of money. There's always someone that wants to work, and they're not looking at the quality of the driver and retaining old people, old drivers, and meeting their needs. They're more concerned of how can we hire the next batch. Okay? So when you wonder why they're doing pay cuts, because they are trying to make more money. They're in a race. They want to prove that they are the ones that are making the most money in this category. Number two, they want to just make sure that they have a surplus of drivers. It doesn't really matter if they retain the drivers that have been driving for a while or if they're bringing in new ones. And the new ones are better for them because they're taking a pay cut. They're not complaining. They don't know any other way. And then those guys will eventually be the old ones, and then those guys will get a pay cut, and the new people will come in and they'll be okay and they'll get a pay cut until finally they bottom out to where like no one can actually do these apps, and then they'll maybe go back a little ways and give you something to keep you. There's a fine line, and they do not want to pay the driver. They don't want to pay the driver all the time. This is one of the reasons why unions were formed, to stop this. As good as it is for us to be independent and flexible, it is great for them because they can do whatever they want to us, because they have flexibility as well. I mean, eventually we have to be able to figure out when enough is enough and if we can keep making money with these pay cuts. And one of the ways to do it is multi-apping and just being extremely smart about it. But I don't see these pay cuts stopping anytime soon. And if you are an independent contractor, you have to adjust and you have to plan and you have to be good at what we're doing. So thank you. Subscribe, hit a like. Have a good one, YouTube.